Hello and welcome to Family Ever After. My name is Christina Brantuck. I am a travel agent with Travelmation, and today I want to show you what the difference is between Disneyland and Disney World. I'm going to share with you three biggest differences between Walt Disney World and Disneyland. The first one being size. So Disneyland is right behind me. Disneyland is less than 1 square mile versus, Disneyland and California Adventure and Downtown Disney and the hotels, everything is less than 1 square mile versus Disney World. It's over 40 square miles. It's the size of San Francisco. And getting to the parks is a lot different. So if you were to get a park hopper for here's Disneyland, and all you got to do to get to the other park, Disney's California Adventure, you don't need a bus, you don't need a tram, all you need is your feet. And there you are, Disney's California Adventure. Super close. So I would say it's worth getting a park hopper here. Disney World, it's going to take you'll have to take a bus, monorail, Skyliner, to park hop between Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, you have to take a bus no matter what to get to that. And it's best to give yourself an hour and a half between parks or between your hotel and the park. Yeah, an hour and a half, because it is huge. It is Walt Disney World. It is massive. And along with the size, here at Disneyland, there are only 3 Disneyland hotels. Disneyland Hotel, the original, that opened shortly after the park opened. And then there's Grand Californian, which has a private entrance into Disney's California Adventure, and Pixar Place Hotel, which just opened recently, which also has an entrance to Disney's California Adventure. Those are the 3 Disney-owned hotels on property. And then you also have several Good Neighbors hotels, which most of them are walking distance to the park and also good value. If you want more information on either a Disneyland hotel or a Good Neighbor hotel, let me know. Again, I am a travel agent and I would be happy to book that for you. Also note that the hotels at Disney World, Walt Disney World has several hotels, and they don't call them hotels, they call them resorts. Versus Disneyland, the Disneyland Resort is all of Disney property. I know it's a little confusing. Here is the whole thing is a resort. There, the hotels are resorts. Make sense? You get it. Yeah. Also, even though Disneyland is significantly smaller than Walt Disney World, Disneyland Park, which is behind me, and Magic Kingdom Park, so Disneyland has more rides, 49 rides, versus Magic Kingdom at Disney World has 41 rides. Crazy, right? And I'll share with you more information about the rides in a little bit. Now on to the second difference. So the second biggest difference between Walt Disney World and Disneyland is that Walt Disney World is, of course, Disney World. It is huge, as we've talked about, but it's also doesn't change a whole lot because it is a tourist destination for people all over the world who might be visiting for once in a lifetime, once a year. So it doesn't really change so much month to month, season to season. It stays roughly the same unless they're making big changes like retheming a ride. Versus Disneyland is more of a local park. So a lot of these people that come here are not people that visit once in a lifetime. They're people that visit every week, like they have annual passes. So Disney tries to make changes to appeal to people to get them coming every month, every season. So Christmas time, for example, it's Christmas, it's still Disneyland, but it's just exploding with Christmas. Versus Disney World is Christmas is more Disney World sprinkled with Christmas. Does that make sense? So Disneyland changes every season pretty much. Right now, because it's Women's History Month, Minnie Mouse is out there in the garden right below the train station at the entrance instead of Mickey Mouse, for example. Halloween and Christmas, they do overlays, not just with rides, but with whole lands, which is really cool. Like Cars Land in California Adventure changes during Halloween time and Christmas time. Haunted Mansion, you got the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay, which is my favorite. So Disney changes things seasonally because they want guests to keep coming back. Now, another way this park is culturally different is the history, really. Walt Disney walked these streets. Walt Disney built this park, and his fingerprints are all over it. His apartment is still located above the fire station, and the light remains on in the window to symbolize that Walt is always looking out at his park. Culturally, also characters are walking around meeting green with guests. They're not some of them are in a specific character meet and greet, like Mickey Mouse in his house and Minnie Mouse in her house. But then there's also Main Street where you're seeing them walking around greeting guests. Chip and Dale I just saw a little bit ago. Behind me, where the flagpole is a great spot for character meet and greets throughout the day, especially in the morning and evening. It's hard to plan that. It just sort of happens, and that's the magic of Disneyland. Disney World has its also magic moments. Just Disneyland, I don't know, it just feels more magical. It's the happiest place on earth. And to find out more of the history, Disney actually does these VIP tours, which you can purchase, and I highly recommend. They're fantastic. Prices do vary, so if you are interested in finding out more, please let me know. I would love to give you more information about that. There's also Walt's Main Street Story Tour, I think it's called. And there you cruise down Main Street with a Disney guided tour. And it's, I believe an hour and a half tour. I've heard great things. They give you lots of trivia. And I've done a walk in Walt's Footsteps tour where you get to do rides, but that's currently not available. Archie Man. See what I mean? Man, that Disneyland marching band, they get into it. See? Magic. Speaking of magic, right here at the beginning of Main Street is a magic shop, which they actually have cool magic tricks in it. So if your kid or adult is interested in magic, performing magic tricks, stop in and see. And also right over here, see, right at the beginning of Main Street. And there's actually a photo of Steve Martin in there because Steve Martin used to work in the magic shop here on Main Street in Disneyland. Okay. So the third biggest difference between Disneyland and Disney World is what a lot of people come here for, the rides. There are a number of rides that are both here at Disneyland and in Disney World, but they're all a little different. And actually Disneyland, even though it's a lot smaller than Magic Kingdom at Disney World, Disneyland has more rides. It's 49 rides, not just attractions, but rides, versus Magic Kingdom at Disney World has 41. It was like they took Disneyland, put it in Florida, and then just spread it out. Now, are rides better at Disneyland or Disney World? Well, I will say this. Most of the rides that are the same at Disneyland and Disney World are better at Disneyland. Most of them are original at Disneyland, but a few of them are original at Disney World. Space Mountain, for example, it is better here than at Disney World. Here, you sit next to each other. It's much smoother, and I love it better here. And they sometimes change it seasonally. Like the season of the Force, Star Wars season, and they make a hyperspace mountain, which is super fun. You're in a Star Wars battle going through the roller coaster. It's awesome. And sometimes for Halloween, they change it to Ghost Galaxy, which means you have a ghost chasing you, kind of. It's sit in the front row. Trust me, it's fun. So they change it here, and then at Disney World, you're sitting behind each other, and honestly, it feels kind of like the Matterhorn here. Matterhorn is a bobsled ride that is a first steel roller coaster of its kind, and it is very bumpy, and you go up and down the mountain, and it definitely gives you a back adjustment. And I feel the same way about Space Mountain in Disney World. It's still fun, but it's definitely a lot less smooth in here. Other rides that are better here are Parts of the Caribbean, because, spoiler alert, you get 2 drops, which are really fun, and it's a lot longer of a ride. Same with Small World, no drops or anything, but it's a lot longer of a ride, and there's Disney characters, so it's really fun to have your kids spot all the Disney characters, and adults, or kids at heart, whatever. But what is better at Disney World is the queues. So because a lot of what is in Disney World is the second building of the ride, and because they have a lot more room, they were able to extend the queues, and some of them make them interactive. Like Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is an interactive queue. Peter Pan queue, oh my gosh, it's so interactive. You see Tinkerbell flying around the Darling's house. You walk through the Darling's house, which is really fun. Here, it's nothing exciting. It's very small and tight. Haunted Mansion also has an interactive queue at Disney World. And some of the rides that are the same rides are just different. Like Haunted Mansion, for example, it looks completely different than what it does in Disney World. One ride that I like better at Disney World is formerly known as Splash Mountain, now about to be Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Because you can sit next to each other, and I just like it better. Here, you have to sit behind one another because the track is a lot smaller. I also like Thunder Mountain. You could like it there or here. I like Thunder Mountain here better because the goat with the dynamite in his mouth. Pro tip: if you sit in the back row, and when you see the goat with the dynamite in his mouth, keep watching it until you can't see it anymore, and I promise you will get an extra thrill, especially if you sit in the back row. Disneyland Castle might be significantly smaller than the Disney World Castle at Magic Kingdom. Disneyland Castle does not have a restaurant inside. It does not have a dream suite up there, although that would be epic. But did you know that you can actually walk through the castle here at Disneyland? It's an attraction. You can walk through and see the story of Sleeping Beauty, only the scenes that take place within a castle to fit with the castle theme. There's Walt Disney's crest, and this is an actual working drawbridge that only was used on opening day, July 17th, 1955. But okay, so you just walk through the castle, and then go to your left, and is the entrance to the walkthrough experience. Take a peek. And here you are on the right side of the castle entrance. When you're in Fantasyland, pay attention to the weather vanes. They are themed to each ride. Mr. Toad, you won't find Mr. Toad at Disney World. He gave up his building to Winnie the Pooh. I will say Dumbo is better at Disney World because in the queue is a whole playground for your kids to play in while you wait. And there are 2 Dumbo rides. Yes, 2, right next to each other. I don't know about your kids, but my kids love Dumbo. See what I mean? Characters everywhere. Hi. Hi, Merida. Storybook Land ride is not in Disney World. It is only here at Disneyland, and it is one of the original attractions here, where you get swallowed by a whale and go through miniature versions of your favorite stories. Well, there you have it. Those are our 3 main differences between Walt Disney World and Disneyland. We have 1, size. Disneyland is significantly smaller. It's less than a square mile versus Disney World is over 40 square miles. So it's the size of San Francisco. So that's a huge size difference. You're still going to get tired. I promise you. Even at Disneyland, you're going to walk a lot, and probably not as much as Disney World, but you're still going to get tired. The second difference is culture. Local park versus global destination. Very different vibe. Changes seasonally here at Disneyland, not so much at Disney World. Still offers seasonal changes, just not as much. And then 3, attractions or rides. They do have a lot of the same rides, but even the rides they do have are very different. The Little Mermaid ride, for example, that is in Magic Kingdom. You walk through Eric's castle, which is really cool. Here at California Adventure, you just go through a building, exactly the same ride. I do want to mention food is also different. I've heard Disneyland has a lot better food than Disney World. Well, caveat. Disneyland and California Adventure food is significantly better than Magic Kingdom food, for sure. But also at Disney World, you have Epcot, which is, her World Showcase. It's so good for food. Same with Animal Kingdom. I haven't had a bad meal there ever. It's always so good. So, so each coast has different food options. But Disneyland churros, I will say, are better. It has to do with humidity over at Disney World and how they're made. They always taste stale, but here you will find not only do the churros taste nice and fresh, but you also find different flavors depending on the seasons, and they're all throughout Disneyland Park. A lot of people think that if they visit Disney World, then they don't even visit Disneyland. Or if they visit Disneyland, they don't even visit Disney World. But I promise you, each destination is very different, even though they have similar rides and they focus in still Disney. So you're going to get family-friendly service, storytelling emphasis. Saturdays and Sundays are the most crowded, just to warn you. So I would suggest have a couple things in mind that you must do, and everything else is just a bonus. And as a travel agent, I can help you book either your Disneyland trip or your Disney World trip, or wherever dream your heart makes. When you book your vacation through me, it costs you absolutely nothing extra, and I will book your dining reservations. I will help you plan your days out, how to prioritize what to do, whether Genie Plus or not Genie Plus, and so you can get the most out of your magical experience, because Disney, as you know, it's an expensive vacation, whether it's at Disneyland or Disney World, and it's hard to know if you haven't been. So I'm happy to share my expert advice. All you gotta do is book through me, and I will help you create that customized vacation that you and your family are dreaming of. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more treasures, and I'll see you real soon. Have a magical day.